Feilu Novel Network Exclusive Contract Novel. Pirates Divine Extraction System. Crossing the pirate world and becoming Kapu's adopted grandson, Luo Chen activates the Divine Extraction System. Can extract anyone's abilities, including demon fruit abilities. Luo Chen. Extract the domineering aura of Shanks, the armed aura of Whitebeard, the aura of Katakuli, and the immortal ability of Kaido from me. Yellow Ape, as someone with sparkling fruits, you must not have been kicked by the speed of light, have you? Top WarsBlackbeard excitedly felt the ability to shake the fruit he had seized. A sentence came from my ear. Does it have the ability to shake fruits? I can do it too. He looked up with a look of horror, only to see the tsunami blocking the sky and the sky shattering like a mirror, as if the end had come. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Windmill Town, the terrifying attributes of Shanks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Donghai, Windmill Town. It is spring, and all things are reviving. 100 flowers are blooming, and colorful flowers are dotted on the island. In a small tavern, bursts of noisy laughter could be heard. Wow, Shanks, is it true? Whales bigger than a small island. A little boy tilted his head and widened his eyes. He looked at the young man with red hair leaning against the wine table, holding a large glass of wine in his right hand, and wearing a straw hat. He quickly asked. The young man with red hair wearing a straw hat took a big sip of the wine in his hand and said, "Ha ha ha, Luffy is real. A whale larger than an island is nothing. Let me tell you, there is also a super elephant walking in the sea, known as the land walking on the sea. The little boy was stunned. After a few seconds, his pupils dilated and he jumped out of the chair, extremely excited. Super elephant. He had an excited expression on his face, with stars twinkling in his eyes. He turned his head to look aside and said, "Did Luo Chen hear you, the super elephant walking on land at sea? I have decided that in the future, I will also become a pirate like Shanks, adventuring freely on the sea with my fists that are faster than bullets." The little boy looked determined and pretended to wave a few fists forward. This cute appearance made the pirates in the tavern laugh uncontrollably and burst into laughter. "What are you laughing at? A fist as fast as a bullet." Xiao Lufei was a bit angry and said, "What I said is true." Yes, Xiao Lufei is right. Come on, use your bullet-fast fist to come and help me pound my back." Ha ha ha. Laughter erupted again in the tavern. On the side, Luo Chen looked at the numerous pirates in the red-haired pirate group, with a smile on his face. Perhaps they didn't expect that the little boy who played with them today would overturn the entire sea in the future. "I didn't expect to have been in this world for almost 5 years. Luo Chen sighed a bit. He wasn't originally from this world, but due to an accident, he traveled to this world of pirates that he was extremely familiar with. "I am 12 years old this year, and my current identity is Kapu's adopted grandson and de Lufei's 5-year-old brother." His body was still his own, but for some unknown reason, when he crossed over, his body turned into his 7-year-old body and fell into Windmill Town. At that time, he was met by Capp, who happened to be returning home, and became Capp's adopted grandson and Luffy's brother. "My full name is Munch-D Luo Chen. It has been 5 years in a blink of an eye now." Like many other travelers, he also has his own system. A system called Divine Level Extraction. This system has an abnormal ability to extract things it has come into contact with. Contact with cheetahs can extract their terrifying explosive power. Exposure to gorillas can extract their terrifying power. Host. Luo Chen, extracted abilities. Cheetah explosive power, Mangniu endurance, gorilla strength, beginner level swordsmanship, beginner level shooting, standby ability. Crocodile scales, frog surface mucosa, alcohol tolerance, extracting ability. A.level swordsmanship, 20%, A.level armed colorful dominance, 30%, A.level seeing and hearing colorful dominance, 30%, A.level shooting, 40%. Comprehensive strength. Taikai, no rating given. Elementary swordsmanship was previously extracted from a navy behind Kapu. Looking at the ability being extracted at the back of his system, Luo Chen only felt a slight liver ache. It has been over a month now, and only 20% of A.level swordsmanship has been extracted, while the remaining A.level abilities are only 30%. When will this be extracted? The extraction speed is based on Luo Chen himself, who is equivalent to computer hardware. The stronger he is, the stronger the hardware, and the stronger the extraction speed. But his current strength is equivalent to that of a naval veteran, so the extraction speed is simply turtle speed. To extract the opponent's ability, it is necessary to ensure that the extracted object is within one's own 2-meter range, otherwise the extraction will be interrupted. So he has a lot of liver pain. Of course, the objects he extracted were all some team leaders of the red-headed pirates, not cadres of the red-headed pirates. The people in this tavern are all cadres of the red-headed pirates and the squad leaders below them. It's not that Luo Chen doesn't want to extract the abilities of cadres, or directly extract the abilities of Shanks. The key is, it can't be done. Target. Shanks' capabilities. SSS level swordsmanship, non-extractable, SSS level dominant color dominance, non-extractable, SSS level armed color dominance, non-extractable, SS level visible color dominance, non-extractable, comprehensive strength. SSS level. This is the ability that Shanks possesses, with only one seeing and hearing color dominance being SS level, and all others being SSS level. When Luo Chen first detected this ability, his eyes lit up with red light. However, when he saw the inexplicable words behind him, he was dumbfounded. This made him even more like a 100% beautiful woman lying in front of you with red fruits. If you look down at yourself, you will feel impotent. That's almost like dying. Except for Shanks, the cadres of the red-headed pirates also possess SS level or even above abilities, with the worst abilities being S.level. The maximum level at which Luo Chen can extract abilities now is level A. Ability above level A, only able to stare. Moreover, extracting A.level abilities is now quite challenging for him. Extracting A.level swordsmanship takes 5 months, and extracting the remaining A.level abilities also takes 3 months. Even if he can extract abilities above level S now, the estimated time it will take will make him desperate. Luo Chen looked at the red-haired pirate group playing around the house with a little kid like Lu Fei. No one could have imagined that the red-haired pirate group under the 4th Emperor Shanks would be so approachable and without any airs. This month, Luo Chen and Lu Fei have already become familiar with the thieves of the red-headed pirates. At the moment of playfulness. At this moment, bang, the door of the tavern was violently pushed open, and a group of people walked in. The laughter in the tavern fell silent for an instant. New book release, handsome guys passing by, move your hands, throw flowers and review votes, thank you. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Mysterious Treasure Chest, Luo Chen takes action. No. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. The leader is a man wearing a samurai hairstyle. As soon as he entered, the noisy tavern immediately quieted down, and a hint of pride flashed in his eyes. It seemed that his name, Sig, was already very well known. Serve the wine. Guest. Guest, wine. Wine has already announced its fragrance and will only be available tomorrow. Tomorrow. Sig's face darkened instantly, and he walked step by step to the wine table, looking at Magino. The wine is gone. Are these people all drinking water? I'm sorry we drank all the wine, Shanks laughed. I still have one bottle that hasn't been opened before. If you don't mind, take it. Sig looked around and raised his eyebrows, saying, pirates. Why do they all look like idiots? It seems like they are another group of pirates who have just gone to sea without knowing what to do. Next second bang, Shanks broke the bottle in his hand with a punch, and the wine mixed with broken glass splashed on Shanks's face. The head on Lousy's head is worth 800 million yuan, and a bottle of wine is not enough for me to rinse my mouth. Oh my, the floor is all wet, let me clean it up. Shanks stood up as if nothing had happened, ready to tidy up. Then came another crackling sound, and countless bottles and jars fell to the ground. Since you love cleaning so much, then it's good enough, Sig spat. Cut, a bunch of fools, what kind of pirate are you? Let's go. Although Luo Chen had seen this scene many times in his past life, when he truly saw it, he couldn't help but admire this bandit named Shiga. He was so strong that he beat the fourth Emperor Shanks, which was enough for him to boast for a lifetime. But immediately after, his pupils contracted. There was actually a golden treasure chest visible only to him floating above this person's head. With a movement of thought, the specific information of this treasure box appeared. Mysterious treasure chest. Killing the target or knocking them unconscious can obtain a mysterious treasure chest, from which mysterious items can be extracted. Mysterious treasure chest. This is the first time in 5 years that Luo Chen has encountered the system. Although I don't know what this mysterious treasure chest is. But it must be a good thing. Stop, who let you go? Sig turned around and saw that it was actually a little ghost. He said, Little ghost, what do you want? You injured my younger brother and need to compensate for the medical expenses. Luo Chen pointed to Lu Fei's arm, which had just been cut a small wound due to flying glass fragments. Sig joked, How much do you want for medical expenses? The medical expenses and compensation from the tavern cost a total of 800 million Bailey, so we'll exchange it with the head on your head. The scene was silent. Half a second later, the laughter of the mountain bandits was deafening. Luo Chen ignored and said to a person at the nearby table, Uncle Beckman, can I borrow the sword from your waist? Beckman, the vice-captain of the red-headed pirates. You can't use my sword, use this one. Beckman threw the sword next to him. Luo Chen took it and immediately felt that this knife was extraordinary, at least it was a good and fast knife. Luo Chen, come on. Xiao Chen, come on. The members of the red-headed pirates felt very interesting, waving their arms to cheer for Luo Chen one by one. With them present, this group of small mountain bandits cannot possibly harm Luo Chen. Very well, little devil, you have successfully angered me. Looking at Luo Chen, who pointed his sword at him, Sig pulled out his sword from his waist and said, Little devil, that's all for your life journey. He swung his knife towards Luo Chen, with a sharp edge. Acid, a collision sound came. The knife was blocked by Luo Chen. He lifted his knife again and slashed. I was once again blocked and saw that my knife had been blocked by a little kid multiple times. Sig couldn't help but feel embarrassed. He was a mountain bandit worth 800 million Bailey. I see how many times you can block it. Shiga kept waving his knife towards Luo Chen, and the light and shadow of the sword filled his face. Acid, acid, the sound of collisions between knives kept coming. Luo Chen strolled leisurely in the courtyard, resisting all the swords and shadows in the sky. Yo ho, good kid. I didn't expect Luo Chen to master swordsmanship and be a swordsman. Beckman raised his eyebrows. After a fierce storm, Sig's face showed a look of disbelief. How could it be that all of my slashes were blocked by the opponent, and by a 12-year-old child? Should it be me now? Luo Chen said lightly. Sig's face instantly changed, and a huge force passed through the sword in his hand. He flew out and smashed the table beside him to pieces. This power is a bit strong. The members of the red-headed pirates were slightly surprised. Although this mountain bandit was like an ant to them and could be slaughtered at will, he could be offered a reward of 800 million Bailey. His strength was naturally unmatched by ordinary people. But Luo Chen, a 12-year-old child, was able to knock the opponent out in the clash of forces. This also means that Luo Chen's power completely crushed the opponent. Damn it! Sig stood up, feeling very embarrassed and angry. He took out his gun and pulled the trigger at Luo Chen. Bang! The members of the red-headed pirates stood up, ready to save Luo Chen, but something unexpected happened to them. Luo Chen's body shook slightly and he instantly dodged, like a cheetah. His foot muscles burst out in an instant, and he came to Sig's face and swung his knife to chop it off. Sig was greatly shocked, and he never expected that the other party could even dodge bullets. He quickly held his knife to block it. A crisp sound came, and Sig's sword in his hand was split in half. Sig's body was also thrown out, shattering the door of the tavern and falling outside. Kill him, kill him. Sig's heart broke with fear. The bandit minions anxiously raised their guns and wanted to shoot Luo Chen to death. But the next second they found that their bodies couldn't move at all, as if they had encountered a wild beast, intimidated by the terrifying aura of the other party and unable to move. Don't get involved in the matter of fighting alone. Shanks took a big sip of the wine in his hand. Luo Chen walked out, and a scream came from outside the door, which suddenly came to an end. Luo Chen returned to the tavern. Remember to tidy up the outside quickly, otherwise. Shanks said lightly, the bandits only felt their necks being pinched by an invisible pair of hands, making it difficult to breathe. Next second they felt their bodies could move and crawled out of this terrible tavern one by one. Outside, they saw their boss who was no longer breathing, and their faces turned even whiter. They didn't forget the person's instructions just now, so they quickly carried the body away and cleaned up the road. Escaped in embarrassment. Data is particularly important during the new book period. Please use your hands, handsome friends, Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Shanks feels guilty. Third shift. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Wow, it's so cool. Luffy's eyes lit up. Sure, Luo Chen. Xiao Chen, you're amazing. Shanks and a group of pirates were also surprised, and Luo Chen's strength was somewhat beyond their expectations. Luo Chen handed back the knife in his hand to Beckman. Good boy, good job, Beckman exclaimed. Ah! The fruit is missing. Suddenly, a cadre let out a loud scream. Everyone looked up and saw a delicate box on the wine table. At this moment, the box had already been opened, and it was empty inside. Ha! Is that fruit? I ate it, Shanks. How could you have such an unpleasant fruit? Luffy pinched his neck, spat out his tongue, and looked like he had eaten feces. He threw the purple fruit he had eaten halfway on the wine table, then took a big sip of juice. Clam. Shanks looked at the fruit that had been eaten halfway, his eyes bulging with fear. He picked up Luffy and said, spit it out for me. Next second Luffy's neck suddenly grew strangely longer, and his face hit the ground with a slap. Hey! What? What's going on? Luffy widened his eyes, feeling a bit confused. Shanks covered his face and said, this is a rubber fruit, a fruit cursed by the sea. After eating it, your whole body will turn into rubber and you will never be able to swim again. Luffy opened his mouth wide and his expression became extremely exaggerated. Ah! Luo Chen's mouth twitched, but he didn't expect Luffy to eat the rubber fruit. Sure enough, this is fate. However, Luffy is indeed an extremely nervous person. After being flustered, he just stretched his fingers and played with them like nothing had happened. Seeing that Luffy didn't cry, Shanks breathed a sigh of relief and turned to Luo Chen, saying, little Luo Chen, who taught you your swordsmanship and body movements. Of course, Luo Chen couldn't answer truthfully. He said, my grandfather. Grandpa. Well, munch-D, Capp. Puff. Shanks and Beckman, who was listening to their conversation on the side, were so scared that they spewed out their wine. Who? Munch-D, Capp. Shanks and Beckman looked at each other, then turned their heads towards Luffy with great understanding. Luffy was playing with his rubberized body, occasionally revealing his white teeth and giggling foolishly. Seeing the signature silly smile, the two of them felt a thump in their hearts. That's right, it's the munch-D, Capp they know. They suddenly felt like their heads were in a fight. Capuna was the ruthless person who once chased Roger around the world, but to their surprise, Luffy and Luo Chen were his grandsons. The two of them were speechless. Why is this world so small? They never knew that Capp had two grandchildren. This confidentiality work is done too well, isn't it? However, it is also normal. Nowadays, the Navy hides their families well. After all, their enemies are vicious pirates who can do anything. Once a naval general, Zifa, captured countless pirates throughout his life. But later on, the family was exposed, and they were all brutally killed by pirates. Since then, the Navy has hidden their families in the dark to prevent such incidents from happening. Shanks and Beckman twitched at the corners of their mouths. If Capp knew he had let his grandson eat devil's fruit, it wouldn't have exploded. Moreover, there is a bigger problem. After hearing about their adventure, Luffy kept clamoring to go out to sea and become a pirate. They have all sweated profusely. If Capp knew, the whole world would have to fight desperately for them. Cough cough, Shanks, why don't we leave early? Beckman said. God knows when Capp will come back, and what if he gets caught right away? I'll be leaving in a few days. The two of them felt a bit guilty of course. Luo Chen didn't know that these two goods were ready to slip away. He casually found an excuse and went to the room not far behind the tavern. Luffy and he are both temporarily staying at Magino's house. Returning to his own room, Luo Chen opened the system interface, which contained a shining treasure chest that he had obtained by killing Sig. Open the treasure chest. The treasure chest is being opened. Ding, congratulations on obtaining 1 gold acceleration card and 1 gold ability enhancement card. Gold acceleration card. Gold ability enhancement card. With a movement of thought, the specific details of this card appeared before my eyes. Golden acceleration card. It can instantly extract A. level and below abilities successfully. Gold ability enhancement card. It can elevate S. level and below abilities by 1 level. Luo Chen's breathing became somewhat rapid. Both of these are things that defy the heavens. I just want to doze off and come to the pillow. He couldn't wait to return to the tavern and extract his abilities, requiring the other party to be within his 2-meter range. Without any hesitation, he silently recited in his heart, use the golden acceleration card. As for accelerating the progress of which ability, do you still need to think about it? It must be extracting A. level swordsmanship. Like blessings reaching the soul. Ding, accelerate completion. Congratulations to the host for successfully extracting A. level swordsmanship, which has been placed in the standby ability column. Get it done. Luo Chen was a bit impatient and hurriedly left the tavern, causing a group of people to look confused. Returning to my residence, I did see an additional item in my standby ability column. A. level swordsmanship. Activate A. level swordsmanship. A. level swordsmanship activation successful. Then there was no hesitation. Use the gold ability enhancement card to enhance A. level swordsmanship. Ding. The upgrade is complete, congratulations to the host for obtaining S. level swordsmanship. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. S.Level Swordsmanship. Chapter 4. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. In the next 2 days, Luo Chen did not go out and integrated his new abilities in the room. At this point, his attribute list also underwent a huge change. Host. Luo Chen Capabilities. S.Level Swordsmanship, Cheetah Burst, Guerrilla Power, Entry.Level Shooting, Standby Ability. Crocodile Skin, Frog Mucosa, Extracting Ability. None Comprehensive Strength. B.Level having S.Level Swordsmanship is a leap in ability improvement, and overall strength has directly increased from Taikai to B.Level without being graded. For those with only B.Level comprehensive strength, Luo Chen was not too surprised. After all, in one's own abilities, only one S.Level swordsmanship can be mastered, and the rest are nothing but chicken ribs. So having a comprehensive strength of only B level is normal. After all, a person's strength cannot be determined solely by one aspect. Just like the world's largest swordsman Eagle Eye, he can be called the world's largest swordsman. In terms of swordsmanship, Shanks is definitely not as good as him, but in terms of comprehensive ability, Eagle Eye is completely no match for Shanks. Luo Chen, something happened and Lu Fei was taken away. Magino's panicked voice came from the door. What's wrong? Sister Magino. He opened the door. Lu Fei was captured by bandits. Luo Chen was taken aback. Didn't Shiga be killed by himself? How could Luffy still be caught? I'll go take a look. Luffy walked towards the town, where he could see many bandits lying on the ground, howling. Finally, when he arrived at the seaside, Luo Chen stopped. Is it still the same as in the original work? Shanks still broke his hand. In the sea, Shanks held Luffy, with a nearby king floating beside him. Shanks's left hand was empty, dripping blood in the harbor. Back to the shore, alright, it's okay. Luffy bit his upper lip, tears streaming down his face. But. It's Shanks, your hand, he said. Shanks touched his head and said, okay, just one hand, it's not a big deal. Magino, lead the way and fly to change your clothes. Magino took Luffy down, and the ship doctor in the pirate group treated Shanks' hand wound. Wow, at this moment, the king of the near sea, who had been knocked unconscious by the dominant aura of Shanks, woke up with a frightened expression and suddenly jumped into the sea, disappearing without a trace. To Luo Chen's surprise, he didn't know if he was dizzy. He clearly saw a purple treasure chest above the head of the prince of the near sea. Watching the direction of the disappearance of the king of the near sea, he felt lost in thought. Looking back, Luo Chen walked over and said, Shanks, thank you. Ha ha ha, you're welcome. Besides, it should be us saying thank you. Luffy is for us, Shanks grinned. Luo Chen also learned that this group of mountain bandits and Shiga were not in the same group. On the way, he heard these mountain bandits say that the pirates were all useless people, so he spoke up to refute them, and only then did he have this scene now. Quickly, Shanks' injury was treated. At this moment, Luffy also changed into a new outfit. Luffy, our resources have been replenished and we need to leave, Shanks laughed. Looking at Shanks's empty left hand, Luffy suppressed the tears in his eyes. Alright, why is the man crying? Me, I'm still too weak, Shanks. When I grow up, I will definitely find a partner who is not inferior to your group, and then find the big secret treasure to become the One Piece King. Luffy clenched his small fist and finally almost shouted with all his strength. Ha! You want to surpass us, Shanks looked at Luffy. So go ahead and do it. He put his straw hat on Luffy's head and said, it's my most important item. Take good care of it and return it to me the day you stand in front of me. Luo Chen watched this classic scene from the side, which may be what is called inheritance. Xiaoyuan, we're leaving. Shanks hugged Luo Chen. Okay, Old Shanks has a good journey. Luo Chen looked at him and said, I look forward to the day when we meet at sea. Shanks was taken aback for a moment, then gave him a deep look and said, I'm also looking forward to it. As the group boarded the ship, it slowly departed and eventually disappeared from sight. Luo Chen, I must become the One Piece King. The straw hat covered Lu Fei's face, making it difficult to see his specific expression, only tears streaming down his cheeks. These are tears of parting, as well as tears of longing for the future. It's a kind of promise. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Capp's Fury, see Ace. No. You are listening at Naval full.audio. Time is like a white horse passing through a gap. A month passed quietly. During this month, Luo Chen has fully integrated S.level swordsmanship into his innate ability. In his spare time, Luo Chen trains Lu Fei. At least now Luffy's fist can come back intact. Instead of punching out and lying on the ground 1 meter away with a soft and unsteady fist like before. Lu Fei, I heard that you have eaten the devil's fruit, and you still want to be a pirate. Early in the morning, a roar of anger came. Luo Chen felt the entire ground tremble, and the wooden house made an unbearable creaking sound. Bang, the door was pushed open, and a figure stronger than the bear occupied Luffy and Luo Chen's line of sight. Grandpa. Grandpa. Lu Fei was so scared that his chin fell directly to the ground. This was not an adjective, it was really so scared that he fell to the ground. Seeing Luffy's chin fall to the ground like a non-human, Capp's eyes instantly widened, and the last trace of luck in his heart disappeared completely without a trace. He pulled Luffy, who was trembling in the corner, back and pulled his body into various shapes. You really ate the devil's fruit. Luo Chen's mouth twitched, truly deserving of being a family without a good mind. This is his own grandson. For a long time, Capp flew his disoriented path onto the ground and said, you shouldn't be a pirate anymore. When you grow up, you want to be a just navy. Navy. No, I want to be a pirate, I want to be a pirate king. Luffy said in a milky voice. Upon hearing these words, blue veins appeared on Kapu's forehead, followed by a scene of immense tragedy. In the end, Capp himself was tired, but Luffy still insisted on being a pirate. Kapu felt his head grow big and looked at Luffy, his gaze making Luffy's forehead cool. It seems like it was my mistake to let you stay in the leisurely Windmill town, he said. Then he helped Luffy pack up his things and carried him all the way towards the outside of Windmill town. After walking for a long time, he climbed several mountains and finally came to a large wooden house in the mountains. There is a plaque on the wooden house. The Dayton family. On the roof sat a boy several years older than Luffy, holding a double-headed water pipe in his hand, with freckles starting to appear on his face. Luo Chen looked at the person and silently said in his heart, Ace. Ace, come down here. Ace jumped down. This is your younger brother, named Lu Fei. You two will live together in the future. Upon hearing the commotion outside, a group of people emerged from the Dayton family, one of whom was a woman even stronger than a man. Oh, it's just the right time, Dayton. I'll leave this grandson to you, too, said Capp. Bastard, don't treat me like a daycare center. There's already a little demon king here, you still need to send one. The Dan saw Lu Fei and felt a headache in an instant. This kid knew he was particularly mischievous at first glance. One ace was enough for them to endure, and they even had one. Kapu twisted his neck and made a clicking sound. Oh. That's okay, then let's arrest you, after all, you are mountain bandits. Cough, you're joking, the Dan sneered. Luffy, you'll stay here from now on. Let's go, Luo Chen. Kapu walked away with Luo Chen in a lively manner. On the road, Luffy, who wanted to be a pirate no matter what, sounded angry. He gritted his teeth and said, "Damn it, Shanks, if you hadn't broken one hand to save Luffy, I would have had to break your other hand. Return to the residence." "Luo Chen, you should also tidy up your things," said Kapu. Luo Chen was a bit puzzled. "I'll take you to the Navy headquarters. At the age of 12, you can already join the Navy." Luo Chen is now the only person Capp is pleased with. His son has become the #1 enemy of the world government, and his grandson is constantly clamoring to become a pirate. No one is willing to listen to him well and become a navy. He can't let Luo Chen take any other path. If another man runs out who wants to become the bandit king, he will have the heart to die. So quickly take Luo Chen to the Navy headquarters. If Luo Chen knew about Kapu's ideas, he would definitely be speechless. "Do you know that I would honestly become a Navy headquarters?" Luo Chen's eyes narrowed slightly, which was exactly what he wanted. There are no decent powerhouses in this mountainous corner of Windmill Town, and there is no way to extract their abilities. If there are the most powerful in the world, it is undoubtedly the Navy headquarters, where he can also extract more powerful abilities. Now that I have S.level swordsmanship, I also have a certain foothold in the Navy headquarters. After a simple tidying up, Luo Chen bid farewell to Magino. In the latter's reluctant gaze, they boarded the warship and left Windmill Town, where they had lived for 5 years. Ha! On the deck, Luo Chen let out a soft moan, and a purple treasure chest appeared in his field of vision. But there is nothing on the sea surface. He squinted his eyes, as there was no one on the sea. So it's in the sea. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. Luo Chen's Strength and Kapu's Shock. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. At that time, I didn't have any illusions. This purple treasure chest is really the king of the nearby sea. "Let me borrow your sword," Luo Chen said to a nearby Navy officer. Luo Chen held the sword in his right hand. In the moment he held it, his entire aura changed, his eyes sharp and sharp, revealing his sharpness. He swung forward with a fierce slash. A huge blade burst out from the tip of the sword. The blade split open the sea surface, directly splitting the king of the near sea in half, and the blood stained the sea surface red. And Luo Chen's mind also successfully sounded a prompt. Congratulations on obtaining the purple mysterious treasure chest. On the side, Capp's eyes were almost wide open, wondering where his grandson's strength came from. Those navies were even more stunned. "Where do you come from swordsmanship?" Capp couldn't help but ask, "This swordsmanship is already a swordsman. I'm just trying to figure things out on my own. When I have nothing to do, I can swing my knife and then unleash this kind of slash." Luo Chen's answer left them speechless. How can this make swordsmen who have been practicing swordsmanship for decades unable to reach the level of a swordsman? Ha ha ha. Kapu's mouth burst out with a hearty laugh. This was really a surprise. I didn't expect that his grandson was still a good swordsman, and he could even figure out swordsmanship with the strength of a swordsman. In an instant, the frustration caused by Luffy's constant clamor to become a pirate was washed away without a trace. "Come, Luo Chen, let's practice with our grandfather and grandson," Kapu said to Luo Chen. Luo Chen was eager to give it a try and also wanted to know what level of strength he had reached with his S.level swordsmanship. There were no experts to practice against him in Windmill Town. At the same time, he also investigated Capp's strength and the results he obtained left him stunned. Name. Kapu Capabilities. SSS level Armed Color Dominance, Non-Extractable, SS level Seen and Heard Color Dominance, Non-Extractable, SSS level Naval Style 6, Non-Extractable, SSS level Physical Skills, Non-Extractable, SSS level Iron Fist, Non-Extractable, Comprehensive Strength. SSS level. Luo Chen's mouth twitched, and he could only say 666. He is truly the Capp who can chase the pirate king around the world. He has 4 SSS level abilities, only one of which is SS level, which is simply inhumane. However, it is also normal. Kapu's strength is still at its peak, with only white hair on his temples and the rest being jet black. His physical fitness is at its peak. Luo Chen was a bit excited and fought against the top players in the world. Luo Chen, you attack first, Capp said, holding hands. Luo Chen stood with his sword in hand, then rushed forward in an instant and slashed towards Kapu. He doesn't have any reservations, and Capp's strength doesn't require him to let go. Acid, Capp didn't flinch at all, extending his index finger. This index finger instantly turned pitch black, emitting a metallic luster. The index finger collided with the tip of the knife, making a sound of steel collision, and sparks splashed everywhere at the collision site. Luo Chen's body swayed slightly and came behind Kapu. But the other person seemed to have eyes on the back of their head twisted slightly, and their shoulders turned pitch black in an instant. The knife hit their shoulders, sparks charged all the way, but they didn't even cut through their clothes. Kapu's body shook, causing Luo Chen to fly backwards. In mid-air, Luo Chen stabilized his figure and landed on the ground. Luo Chen's hands shook, and in that moment, the muscles in his arms thickened a circle. This was the power of the gorilla. He bent up and the blade tore through the air, cutting towards Kapu. Oh, compared to strength. Kapu still extended his index finger and flicked it at the fierce blade. Buzz. The sword in Luo Chen's hand trembled violently, and his body leaped back a few steps, almost unable to hold it. Is it true that there is still too much difference? Luo Chen looked at Kapu and said, "Old man, be careful next." Luo Chen stood straight with a knife in his hand, his spine like a sword, his robe bulging, and his eyes becoming extremely cold at this moment. He was consolidating his momentum, and at that moment, the calm sea began to stir and the atmosphere became solemn, as his momentum accumulated to its peak. Luo Chen moved and raised the sword in his hand. The next second, the knife falls. The sword light fell and the sword energy slashed out. A black sword aura slashed towards Kapu, cutting through the air and making a piercing sound. This black sword aura was extremely fast and quickly arrived in front of Kapu in an instant. Capp's face remained as usual, and at this moment his right fist became pitch black, with a punch thrown out. Boom! The sword energy and fist collided, causing the ship to sink downwards and the surrounding seawater to surge up. The sword energy was shattered by Capp's punch. With this slash, Luo Chen's sword in his hand was overwhelmed and shattered into countless pieces. He shook his head, and sure enough, the gap was still too big. He used his strongest strike, but couldn't make Capp move half a step. However, Luo Chen was not discouraged. At the headquarters of the Navy, there were countless strong individuals who allowed him to extract abilities. Kapu looked at Luo Chen and felt a bit shocked. He underestimated Luo Chen's swordsmanship strength. He didn't expect that the final blow would cover his entire fist with an armed and domineering aura. And Capp lifted his right hand, and there was a very fine bloodstain on his fist. This also indicates that Luo Chen's just strike cut open his armed aura and successfully injured his body. 6 hours after publishing the book, the 6th day on the first day is served. Handsome gentlemen, a new day has arrived. Do you have any flowers and tickets? Woo-woo, don't tear off the flowers and tickets, vote for me, thank you. If the flowers reach 2,000 and the review ticket reaches 500, then I will reach 10 more chapters on the first day Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. The Supreme Sharp Blade, Reincarnation. 7th. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Your swordsmanship is amazing, but in terms of speed and explosiveness, it's just too childish. Capp's eyes are very venomous. Luo Chen cannot deny it, after all, his burst and strength are extracted from ordinary cheetahs and gorillas, and he really cannot make it to the table. However, it's not a big deal either. The Navy has a comprehensive method of improving physical fitness, which is the Navy's 6 styles. When we arrive at the headquarters of the Navy, we will extract the Navy's Type 6. Old man, I'll go rest first. Luo Chen called out to Kapu. The move just now also consumed a considerable amount of energy for him, but more importantly, he was concerned about what the purple treasure chest he had just obtained from the King of the Near Sea could extract. Kapu looked at Luo Chen's departing figure, his eyes flickering with excitement. It was truly a surprise, as he underestimated his grandson's talent in swordsmanship. After training at the headquarters of the Navy, there is no guarantee that in the near future, the position of the world's largest swordsman will be changed. Return to the cabin. Luo Chen sat on the bed and breathed a sigh. This was the power of a first-class and powerful person on the sea, it was simply terrifying. If their combat power were fully unleashed, they would probably be able to annihilate a country by a fraction. He is now increasingly craving for power. Only strength can allow oneself to stand firm in this dangerous world. Open the treasure chest. Luo Chen looked at the purple treasure chest on his system interface and spoke directly. The purple treasure chest is being opened. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining the Supreme Great Blade. Reincarnation. The system voice has just dropped. A knife appeared in front of Luo Chen, with a purple handle and many carvings. There was a hollow circular shape on both sides of the handle, half white and half black, similar to the yin-yang diagram. Under the handle is a black and white jawbone, which is stuck on the scabbard. The blade is wrapped in a simple sunken wood scabbard. The whole knife looks very extraordinary. When Luo Chen reached out and touched the knife with his fingers, his sword intent was cheering and jumping in that moment. Ah! The sharp blade was unsheathed, and the air let out a buzzing sound. A dark, night-like glow appeared, and in this moment, the air in the room seemed to become cold and chilling. Purple hilt, black and white jaws, and deep blade like deep night. At first glance, this knife may seem ordinary, but after seeing it for a long time, one can feel its extreme uniqueness. Returning to simplicity, and simplicity is the greatest way. The Supreme Sharp Blade. Reincarnation. Famous swords are divided into 50 works of good and fast swords, 20.1 works of great and fast swords, and 12 works of supreme great and fast swords. This sword is something that every swordsman dreams of. The world's largest swordsman, Eagle Eye, possesses an unparalleled sharp sword called Black Blade Knight. Luo Chen was ecstatic in his heart, and he never expected to extract a supreme sharp sword from the purple treasure chest. A famous sword is too important for a swordsman. An ordinary sword cannot withstand the sword intent of a swordsman, just like in a battle with an old man just now. With just one strike, it has already been scrapped. He was just worried that he didn't have a suitable knife and wanted to see if the old man could help him get a good and fast knife from the Navy. I didn't expect a big surprise to come now. The Supreme Great Sword, Reincarnation, a Supreme Great Sword that never appeared in the original work. Luo Chen held on to the Reincarnation knife. Buzzing, the air in the room became extremely sharp and violent. The blade trembled violently, trying to break free from Luo Chen's hand. Famous swords have spirit, and to use them, one must obtain their recognition. If an ordinary person wants to use the Supreme Fast Sword, then the will contained within the sword alone is enough to destroy it and turn it into a madman who only knows how to kill. Many of the names of demon knives come from this. It's not that the knife is unknown, but that you don't have the strength to match it. Luo Chen's eyes froze, his gaze sharp, and his sword-like intent surged into the Reincarnation sword, fighting against it. The collision of the two caused a gust of wind in the room, leaving the entire room in a state of chaos. Buzzing, the trembling sound of reincarnation became increasingly intense, and the confrontation between the two became increasingly intense. Hiss, 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 hiss. The air turned into swords, wreaking havoc in the room, and the walls were filled with shocking scratches. Reincarnation, I am only 12 years old this year. Do you want to be with me? In the future, I will make your name resound across the sea and claim the first throne. Luo Chen's eyes lit up, which was a goal for himself and a promise to the reincarnation sword. Shirshi. The reincarnation blade erupted with an even more astonishing frenzy. Luo Chen's eyes flickered into the flames, his body trembled, and a more fierce sword intent surged out. The two faced off, and a crisp sound of swords clashing in the air. In a few minutes' buzz. The reincarnation sword trembled suddenly and then returned to calmness. Luo Chen smiled, knowing that he had received recognition from the reincarnation blade. 2 months have quietly passed. Luo Chen stood on the deck, facing a large group of towering and imposing buildings, with a seagull-like pattern on the huge walls. After 2 months, the headquarters of the Navy finally arrived. Kapu got off the ship with Luo Chen and walked towards the headquarters of the Navy. As they set foot on the headquarters of the Shanghai Army, the latter half of the Great Waterway, also known as the terrifying sea area of the New World, where the strong are like crucian carp crossing the river. Anyone with a single stone could potentially hit a pirate with a bounty of over 100 million. In the New World, on the red-haired pirate ship sitting in the chair, taking a short break, the red-haired person opened his eyes and stood up to look at the calm sea ahead. He grinned and said, "Order to go ahead and have a banquet today. Friends are coming." Friend. Everyone was a bit puzzled. In the next moment on the calm sea, a small boat broke open like a peerless blade and sailed towards the red-haired pirate ship at an extremely fast speed. On the 7th day of the first day, I will ask for flowers and evaluation tickets. I will code the characters and hand over the data to all the handsome contestants. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Shanks. I bet it on the New World. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. On the small boat, there was still a person standing straight, holding hands and wearing a cowboy hat. He carried a large cross-like knife on his back. But the most eye-catching thing was his eagle-like eyes. Sharp and suffocating. The world's largest swordsman. Eagle Eye, Joracle Myhawk. A terrifying sword intent surged towards the red-haired embankment, and the sea in front of it was cut open. A white wave rose and the seawater surged towards both sides. Red-haired smiled, and then his eyes froze, instantly becoming extremely serious. A terrifying aura also rose from him, and then rushed forward like a flash flood. Bang, bang. A earth-shattering sound came. 2 waves of momentum collided in the center of the sea. The whole scene was full of excitement, with sparks sparking at the collision point, the magnetic field twisted, and blue lightning arcs lurking. The thick clouds in the sky were directly split open at the center of the clash of the two forces. Like a trench, revealing a blue sky. The sea level has collapsed several meters downwards, forming a large crater on the surface of the sea. But this momentum comes and goes quickly. The two quickly regained their momentum, the sea calmed down, and the clouds reassembled. If we ignore a large sea king floating on the sea that has been knocked unconscious by the momentum of both. Just like nothing happened just now. The small boat slowly docked over, and the person with eagle-like eyes jumped onto the pirate ship. "Oh, Mihawk, long time no see," Shanks said. Eagle Eye looked at Shanks' empty left hand and said, "As the 4th Emperor, I don't believe anyone in the East China Sea can cut off your arm. There is no such strong person in this world yet. Give me a reason, why?" Shanks's thoughts drifted away. "When I came back, I had a drink with Whitebeard and he said, 'How could someone like me lose a hand in the East China Sea?' I said, I bet him on a new world. Looking at the shimmering sea, Shanks said, I see hope in the East China Sea, the hope to overthrow this corrupt world. I use my left hand to make him firm in his beliefs, and also use my left hand to teach him the principles of being a good person. I'm curious, who could make you value it so much? You will see it in the future. Eagle Eye cannot deny it. You are left-handed. Your left hand is broken, which greatly affects your strength. Do you need my help? Hearing the news of your broken hand, the new world seems a bit uneasy. A group of young people, why be afraid of it? I have switched to using my right-hand sword, and I feel like I have abandoned my left hand. In the future, my strength will be even higher. Oh. After you are fully familiar with your right hand, let's have a swordsmanship competition and see if your swordsmanship has regressed or improved. By the way, when it comes to swordsmanship, in the future, your position as the world's largest swordsman may not be guaranteed. The figure of Luo Chen appeared in Shanks' mind for some reason. To be honest, Luo Chen couldn't see through. Besides his own Captain Roger, Luo Chen is the second person he can't see through. When he left, he clearly felt a sharp sword intent on Luo Chen. Oh. This success caught Eagle Eye's interest. It seems like you've gained a lot from going to the East China Sea, so I'm looking forward to his arrival. Eagle Eye smiled faintly, realizing that the title of the world's greatest swordsman was not bestowed upon him by anyone else, but rather killed from the hands of countless great swordsmen. Naturally, he was fearless of anyone's challenge. On the 8th watch of the first day, Woo, the flowers have not yet broken 1,000, please ask for the flowers evaluation ticket. These two things are very important for the new book. Please compare them, thank you. Continue to code Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Naval Headquarters. 9th update. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. 2 flowers bloom, each representing one branch. When Eagle Eye and Shanks met, Luo Chen had already arrived at the Navy headquarters with Capp. Walking at the headquarters of the Navy, Luo Chen constantly detected the capabilities of the incoming and outgoing navies. But the result left him somewhat puzzled, as the naval capabilities involved in these interactions were very weak. Most of them only have basic swordsmanship, basic shooting skills, and basic physical skills. This shouldn't be. This is a strong naval headquarters, why are they all so weak? Old man, why do I feel like the navies coming and going here have a weak aura? Kapu dispelled his doubts and said, because this is a new recruits training camp, the huge square in front of the fortress is filled with new recruits training grounds, and those officers are all behind the fortress. Luo Chen looked up and saw the huge fortress of the Navy, like a huge wild beast lurking here. This is the facade of the Navy. In the original work, at the top of the war, most of this fortress was destroyed. Passing through the steel gate of the fortress, walking all the way towards the top floor of the fortress. This is the marshal's office. Kapu pushed open the door directly, then sat down on the sofa with his legs crossed, digging his nostrils at the black-lined Warring States Road. Warring States period, sign a document to let my grandson enter the naval training camp. Luo Chen was also observing the Warring States period and using the system to detect him. Name. Warring States period capabilities. SSS level Phantom Beast Giant Buddha form, non-extractable, SSS level Armed Color Dominance, non-extractable, SS level Navy Type 7, non-extractable, SS level Seeing and Hearing Color Dominance, non-extractable, Comprehensive Strength. SSS level. The various abilities of the Warring States period were somewhat inferior to Kappa, with 2 SSS level abilities and 2 SS level abilities. But if they are Devil Fruit abilities, since they are SSS level, it also indicates that they have already developed their fruit abilities to their peak. Devil Fruit abilities are enough to make up for some of their own shortcomings. Besides, The Warring States period is known as the wise general of the Warring States period. The most powerful thing is not his strength, but his mind, which is like a strategist. Moreover, since becoming the marshal of the Shanghai army, he has been sitting at the headquarters of the Navy for a long time without taking action, and his strength has declined significantly. During the Warring States period, he looked at Luo Chen and nodded. It was just a small matter, and his old buddy spoke up. Of course, he had to give this face. Then let's go to the junior training camp tomorrow to report. No, advanced. Capp picked up the shenbei placed aside and ate it. Advanced. Are you serious? Well, I remember that bastard 10's FA would select students at the advanced training camp, so he was allowed to enter the advanced training camp, Capudes grinned. The eyebrows of the Warring States period were raised. According to Capp, he still wanted his grandson to enter Zifa's elite training camp. Those who could enter the elite training camp were the future high-level officials of the Navy and the backbone of the Navy. It is also the most outstanding group of talents in the entire Navy who were able to enter the elite training camp. Although Capp looks carefree, he is very well behaved. Since he wants his grandson to enter the elite training camp, that means he has the strength to match it. The Warring States period glanced at Luo Chen, clearly surprised by his strength. If that's the case, then I'll go to the advanced training camp tomorrow to report, Capp. I'll go and see the selection of the elite camp the day after tomorrow. I want to see how strong your grandson is, who has made you so proud. Ha ha ha, I promise I won't disappoint you. Taking the consent letter to enter the advanced training camp from the Warring States period, Capp left Marshal's office with Luo Chen. Time quickly arrived on the second day. You said you're a new member. Colonel Gerst, the instructor of the advanced training camp, looked at Luo Chen with a puzzled expression and said, "You've gone to the wrong place. The new recruits training camp is in the school field in front of the fortress." "No, it's not a new recruits training camp, it's an advanced training camp." Luo Chen handed over the document book in his hand. Colonel Gerst picked it up and looked at it in confusion. It was really true, and there was a martial seal on top, and the introducer below wrote, "Major Kapu. What is your relationship with General Kapu?" "My grandfather." Gerst. Unable to provoke, unable to provoke. "Then you go back to the queue, at the back of the last row," said Gerst. Luo Chen nodded and looked at the team of about 40 people in front of him, where he could see familiar faces from his past life. Smog, Binzi, Ian, Tina, Daki. The students in this advanced training camp are probably 4 or 5 years older than Luo Chen, and he should be the youngest here. At this moment, I'm not convinced. Why? Don't worry, I won't spend too much time writing about improving my strength at the Navy headquarters, and it will transition quickly. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. Oh. Then don't let me flash kill you. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. In the team, a muscular person with red hair walked out. He looked at Luo Chen and said, "Why did we work hard for several years, all the way from the new recruit training camp to the junior training camp, then from the junior training camp to the intermediate most training camp, and finally from the intermediate training camp to the advanced training camp? We have gone through layers of tests, layers of selection, and put in countless sweat and heartache. Why do you rely on connections to effortlessly enter the advanced training camp? Is this fair?" Gerst frowned and said, "Eugene, shut up for me. Who allowed you to speak? Run 100 laps around the school field." "Instructor, wait." Luo Chen stopped Gust. "Why?" Luo Chen walked forward with a sneer at the corner of his mouth. "Just because my grandfather is a naval hero, a Lieutenant General Kapu, and he has made countless contributions to the Navy, he has saved countless civilians. So, as his grandson, I have enjoyed this honor and privilege. If I am not satisfied, you can ask your grandfather to become a naval hero and try chasing the pirate king around the world. As soon as these words were spoken, countless pairs of eyes glared angrily at Luo Chen, and even the instructor beside him showed displeasure on his face. Luo Chen ignored it and continued, blessings do not benefit future generations. What is the use of making achievements? I don't believe that you joined the Navy purely to kill pirates. I never thought that in the future, when your son was born, you would give him a good starting point, give him glory and wealth, and become a high-class person. Luo Chen sneered and said, if you have gone through countless battles with pirates and eventually become a senior officer in the Navy, and after you step down, your children will still have to live in the slums or work hard for their livelihoods, will you still join the Navy? Will you still sacrifice your life for the Navy? This statement stunned everyone, like a thunderbolt, causing them to turn pale. The descendants of nobles will not join the Navy, and the family conditions for those who join the Navy are not very good. What are their intentions for joining the Navy? The picture is about making a name for oneself, allowing one's descendants to have a stable and happy future without worrying about food and drink. If I have experienced countless battles, my comrades around me have died, and I have walked countless times in front of the gates of hell, finally becoming a senior officer in the Navy. After stepping down, my children will still struggle in the slums, still at the bottom of society. Will they still fight so hard? Their faces turned pale, and they already had an answer in their hearts. Luo Chen looked at Eugene and said, as for what you said about fairness. You guys are already big, please don't say these ridiculous things. Is it fair for Tianlong people to stand at the peak of the world from birth and receive countless sacrifices? In a barren country, countless people starve and die from illness every day. Is this fair to them? You tell me fairness. There's no such thing as fairness in this world. These words echoed like thunderbolts in their minds, causing them to stumble and constantly retreat. These words tore apart all their disguise and laid everything on the table. For people aged 15 or 6, the impact is unparalleled. Even the nearby instructor Gerst was shocked upon hearing these words. The fact is, Luo Chen has also heard a lot of these words in his past life. Under some news about the second generation of wealthy people, comments are often mixed with some hateful remarks, such as, "It's just that he has a father who is the richest and has a good baby. If it weren't for your father being the richest, you would be considered barren." Those who are able to say these words are often unhappy in real life and lack ambition. If they were allowed to recognize the richest man as their father, they could run faster than everyone else and then lick their faces and call him their father. So, you're just jealous of me. You're jealous that my grandfather is Capp, you're just jealous of my handsomeness. So, work hard to reach the level of my grandfather, and then have a handsome grandson. Your grandson will also be able to pull like I do today. Luo Chen spread his hand and looked helpless. With these words, everyone's mouths twitched. Are you really unhappy with me? Do you really want to hit me? I'll give you a chance to compete. Everyone's eyes lit up and they said, are you serious about this? Take it seriously. Okay, let me go first. I admit that what you said earlier was all right, but I still don't like it. I will show you the advanced training camp, which is not where you should come. The difference in strength cannot be compensated by relationships. Eugene twisted his neck. Luo Chen shrugged and said, then come on. Everyone cleared the venue. Two people are facing each other in battle. Are you also using a sword? Eugene said as he looked at Luo Chen hanging from his waist. That's right. Upon receiving the answer, Eugene's eyes lit up and he said, coincidentally, I also use swords. So I'll teach you how to use swords well. He slowly drew his sword from behind. Oh, really? Luo Chen smiled playfully. He has just explored Eugene's abilities. Name. Eugene capabilities. B.level swordsmanship, extractable, C.level iron blocks, extractable, C.level finger guns, extractable, advanced physical skills, extractable, comprehensive strength. C.level. This advanced training camp is also worthy of being an advanced training camp, which is countless times stronger than the new recruit training camps outside, and has already begun to master the Navy's Type 6. You attack first, let me see how your swordsmanship is, Eugene said. Okay, then don't let me flash kill you. Eugene heard this with a hint of indifference, and just as he was about to say something, his face suddenly changed. 10th update, although there are not even 1,000 flowers, woo-woo, please ask for flowers, please evaluate. Thank you, flowers and evaluation tickets are really important, and the editor pays great attention to these two data. Ability levels are divided into entry level, beginner level, intermediate level, advanced level, C level, B level, A level, S level, SS level, SSS level, Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.